Hi, this is Sierra from Essentials for Healing, and today we have a kind of an exciting assignment. We have a client who has a big event coming up in her future, and she wants her skin to be just perfect. So she's younger, so and she breaks out sometimes. So we're making a whole skincare regime for her, targeted at the younger skin, but not drying out her skin. A lot of times when you get things in the store, and even the health food store, the products will dry out your skin. And maybe that's okay temporarily, but when you get older, you don't want to start that pattern. You want to keep your skin moisturized no matter what age you are. So we're going to start out by making a mask. And the ingredients that we use are all basically have the same, let's see, how would I say that? The same intention. So they're antioxidant, they're good for, they're cooling, but they're good for hot, inflamed skin, like if you have a breakout. The one clay I'm using, which is, I have a real hard time saying, so it's Rhassoul. It's specific for blackheads, so that's great because blackheads, once you get them, boy. So we're going to go ahead and get started. This will make an ounce, and I'm gonna explain a little bit as I go along. We're going to use one. Yeah, did I say this makes an ounce? Well, if I didn't, I'm gonna say it now. So it's going to be 1.5 tablespoons of the Rhassoul powder. And since I tend to mix my clays, I don't worry about changing out my spoons. They're sterile. And we're going to use 1.5 tablespoons of just red clay. And the reason why I'm using the red clay, aside from its antioxidant properties, and it's wonderful for people that have a tendency to have oily skin, for her, her event is in the winter, and this red, it puts a little pigment on your skin, so she's going to have that touch of sun look without actually having to go out in the sun. So I've used 1.5 tablespoons of the Rhassoul and 1.5 tablespoons of the red clay. And I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of citrus geranium hydrosol, and this is just lovely for your skin. It has a pleasant citrus smell, and it's just lovely. And it goes along with what we are wanting to do here, with giving her a mask that goes on real smooth. Let me stir this up just a bit. It goes on real smooth, and it dries quickly. Okay, I'm gonna put in a teaspoon of marula oil. I love marula oil. It's an oil, but it helps people with oily skin. It helps balance it out. It's also anti-infective. It's an oil that I absolutely love, even if you're just using it to prevent. Now the amount of liquid that you're going to use is going to vary according to the day. So as you can see that this is nowhere near what we want, so I'm going to go ahead and add another tablespoon of the hydrosol. And again, at home, when you're adding your liquid to your clay mask, it's, you know, you're just gonna have to play around with it until you get the texture that you want. So I'm gonna ask Kevin to go ahead and turn off the camera, and then when I get the right consistency, I'll let you see what that looks like. I've added a total of 4 tablespoons of the rose geranium hydrosol, and this is a texture that I like to have. I leave it a little thick because that way my clients get more bang for their buck, and they just apply it to a damp face. So this is a real nice consistency, if you can see that. And the way I test my masks, I test all of them before I sell them, is I take a little bit and put it on the back of my hand and rub it underwater, and if my hand feels really soft and nice after letting this dry on the back of my hand, then I know I've made a good mask. Whenever you're making a mask, just to summarize, it really doesn't matter what clay you use, it's going to be the same principles. So you're going to pick whatever clay you want to use, and then you're going to use your liquid. You may use tea, you could use just distilled water, you could use yogurt, there's lots of options. And then you always want to have at least a teaspoon per ounce of clay, a little less if you're using yogurt, of course, because you don't want to dry out the skin really bad. You just want to tonify it and really do some deep cleaning. And that's the wonderfulness of masks. I can always tell by photographs of myself if I've done a mask on a regular basis or not. As you can see, I had a little bit left in the bowl here, but it did make an ounce. And I just wanted to briefly say that in other recipes you might want some texture, and the reason why I have this is a very smooth mask is because this is for a businesswoman, and she doesn't have a lot of time to sit around and have a mask dry. So I'm going to show you on my hand how quickly this is going to dry, and it's going to do wonderful things for her skin, and it's going to do everything that you would want it to do. But by just using the little bit of oil with the hydrosol and the clay only, this is going to dry in like 5 minutes. So by the time let's say she's doing it before bed, by the time she puts it on and say brushes her teeth and maybe picks out her night clothes, the mask will be dry and be ready to be rinsed off. And I talked to her and I said, don't rinse it off all the way. Have the water have a little bit of red tint to it when you stop, and it won't come off on your anything, but it does kind of give a little color to your cheeks, to your face. So that's a win-win. And if you use yogurt or something else in your mask, then the drying time is going to be longer. And if you have more time, then that's great. Some people just use the powder straight and just put the powder in their hands and put it on their face and let it dry. So that's the end of this. Hope you've enjoyed it.